Hi, hey, hello, how are you? And welcome to my channel. Remember how I said in my reorganizing my bookshelves video that whenever this bookshelf gets full, that's it, I'm done. Well, when I chose to take home a bunch of books from my in-laws' house, that like basically filled the rest of the shelves. And I know that I won't like all of them and I'll probably want to unhaul some of them later once I finish reading all of them. But for the time being, I am stressed because I don't really have room. So I have taken some books out of my bookshelf that I know that I don't want to keep, that I just don't care about to own long term. So I thought, why not bring you guys another unhauling video? Also, my cat Dishy is sitting in this corner. I don't know what he's doing, but he won't move. He's inspecting something, so I'm sorry. He's gonna be here, I think. Oh, weirdo. Okay, so the first book I wanted to unhaul is Matrix by Lauren Groff. I got this book out of a little free library and I started it and then I ended up DNFing it because I was like, this is just actually really not my vibe. This book is about somebody who is technically a princess but is like a bastard child of the king, and all of the legitimate children of the king and the queen decide that they don't want her staying in the castle, they don't want her trying to gain anything from being one of the king's children, so they send her off to live at a convent. And this is that story, and honestly I'm just gonna be so for real, that didn't sound very interesting to me. I didn't read the summary when I got this out of the little free library. I definitely should have, but I didn't. And so when I started it, I was like, is this going to pick up or change pace? Like, what is the deal? And then I read the summary and a couple Goodreads reviews and I was like, oh, okay, this isn't for me. So I am gonna be getting rid of this. Stop it. You can't bite the Ethernet cable. The next book that I'm getting rid of is You by Carolyn Kepnes. This is another book that came from a little free library. Stop! Why are you chewing on books? Are you just bored? Dishy, can you go do something else, please? Please. I did end up reading this one and I gave it 3 stars. It was a well-written horror. I am saying horror because I feel like a lot of people think about this as a thriller, but I felt like it was a horror. I felt like it was really intense and it was really well written, but it just wasn't for me. And so when I feel like a book is just like not really for me, it's not my vibe, I normally give it 3 stars. And so that's what I gave this one. This is about a guy named Joe that starts stalking this woman named Beck, and they end up getting into a relationship, but then things go badly. It's a horror. This is also the first book in a series, and I know I'm not going to read the rest of the series, so I figured I just don't need to keep it. I'm also choosing to get rid of The Road Back to You and The Path Between Us. The Road Back to You is by Ian Morgan Crone and Susan Stabile. This one is only by Susan Stabile, but these are essentially like companion books. They are both nonfiction and they are about the Enneagram. The Enneagram is a personality test, similar in some ways to Myers-Briggs, if you've heard of that. I was really into the Enneagram a couple years ago, and I feel like I read both of these books. I read a lot online and I learned all that I can learn about it. It's not something that I think a lot about anymore, to be honest. I think that it's helpful, but it's not like a hyperfixation or anything anymore, which it kind of was for a second. So I just don't think that I personally need to keep these anymore, and I think that it would be really cool for somebody else to read these, so I'm going to be passing them along. Okay, these next couple books are maybe kind of hot takes, so buckle up. I am getting rid of A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston, and to be honest, I felt like the plot of this book was really interesting. However, I didn't love the way that it was executed. I'll read the back really quick. This is a book about a woman that loves to get lost in a good happily ever after, the fictional kind anyway, because at least imaginary men don't leave you at the altar. She feels safe in stories, at home in books, same girl, which might be why she's so set on going to her book club's annual retreat this year. She needs good friends, cheap wine, and grand romantic gestures no matter what. Essentially, her car breaks down and she finds herself stranded in this small town that feels like it's right out of a novel, and that's because it is. This place ends up being the town from one of her favorite romance series. So I think that that is such an interesting, cute plot. However, I don't like how it ended. I really didn't like where the romance part of it goes. I kind of just wish that this was a fiction book and there were no romantic elements, and it was kind of like she finds herself in this town. How does she get out of the town? Does she want to leave the town? I thought that part of the book was way more interesting than the romance that happens. I don't know, this one just didn't do what I wanted it to do for me, but I know that other people really liked it, so I will be getting rid of this one because I know I'm not gonna reread it and it's just taking up shelf space. Then I will be getting rid of The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. This is a book that I gave 4 stars, but thinking about it, I would honestly probably downgrade it to 3 because for a good portion of this book, I was not into it. It was not grabbing my attention. It just felt like it wasn't for me. It felt like this is really fantastical, but not in a way that I'm enjoying. It's kind of hard to describe what this book is about. We've got our main character, Lucy, and she is a big fan of this book series by this author called Jack Masterson. He wrote the Clock Island series, and it blew up. Like, when I read this, I was thinking like, okay, like, Goosebumps series, or like when Harry Potter first came out. And then he stops writing and everyone's just like, okay, what the heck? Are you gonna keep going? And then he ends up inviting a couple people to the island where he lives, and there is a competition where if you win, you will get the last book. So I feel like a lot of people really liked this book, and that plot sounds interesting to me in theory, but I just didn't love it. So I am going to be getting rid of it. This one's kind of crazy. I will be getting rid of Flawless by Elsie Silver. This is the first book in the Chestnut Springs series. I did not like it. I wanted to like this book so bad because I read this coming off the heels of discovering Lila Sage's Rebel Blue Ranch series, and I was like, yes, I need more cowboy romances. And I thought that this was gonna be it. I thought this was going to quench that thirst, and it did not. I thought that it was kind of lame. I didn't like the writing. It just didn't do it for me. Also, we have our MMC, Rhett Eaton. He is a professional bull rider, and he is currently being canceled, essentially, because he did this ad campaign. This is so dumb. He did this ad campaign for milk for like a dairy company, and then it comes out that he actually hates milk. And so everybody's like, you're not a reputable person. So everyone's like, you're not a reputable celebrity. You only took that deal for the money. And he's like trying to get back into the good graces of the public. So then his agent decides, you basically need to be babysat. I'm gonna send my daughter to do that. And then they, you know, end up getting together. But I just didn't, the romance in this did not feel believable to me. And I thought that the plot seemed dumb from the beginning. So my heart really wasn't in it, and I was like, well, I'm definitely not gonna read the rest of the books now. So this was a no for me, unfortunately. Next one is a heavy hitter. I will be getting rid of my copy of Iron Flame. So I did have Fourth Wing, and then I bought Iron Flame. I've also read Onyx Storm, but I never bought it because I had mixed feelings about this book. I don't have Fourth Wing anymore because I lent it to someone and I never got it back, but that's okay with me, that's fine. And then, yeah, I had mixed feelings about this one, and then I read Onyx Storm and I was like, you know what? Actually, I don't like this series. Actually, the Empyrean series is not my fave. So I'm going to be getting rid of this because it's not my favorite series. I don't own the first book anymore and I don't want to continue reading it. So this is just taking up a big space on my shelf and I just don't need it anymore. I'm not going to be coming back to this book, but this is like a nice hardcover copy. So I feel like somebody else will really be able to enjoy this. This one's kind of random. This is Come Let Us Adore Him by Paul David Tripp. This is a like religious devotional book. I did grow up in the evangelical Christian space. I've since left the church and this is like the last remnant of that. This is like a Christmas Advent devotional and I was like, maybe I'll come back to it during Christmas, and I just never have because I've also read it like 1 or 2 times and I just feel like I don't need it anymore, so I'm gonna be getting rid of this too. And then lastly, I will be getting rid of When She Was Me. This was honestly a god-awful thriller. It was really bad. This is about a set of twins, Cassie and Lenora. They live in this cabin permanently in this like campground area. So typically people would rent one of the cabins or stay in a tent and it's temporary, but these sisters live there permanently. You can tell from the beginning that they've got a lot of trauma. Something really bad happened in the past. And one of the most irritating things about this book to me was that they keep doing this really cringy, like, that made me think about the bad thing the night that everything changed. And they just do shit like that over and over and over again, where they're just like baiting you, but like in such a cringy way that it didn't even make me like interested in what had happened anymore. I feel like if you skillfully hint at something that happened in the past and you leave little breadcrumbs so that I'm interested, I'm invested, I want to find out what happens, that's good writing. This was not it. This was not it. And I feel bad saying that because like obviously this author worked really hard on this book. This is a debut novel and I just absolutely hated it. I also totally thought that I checked the trigger warnings beforehand. I guess I didn't. So there were some things that popped up that were just not cool with me. And then there were like 2 big dumb ass twists in the end. And I really hated it. So I will be getting rid of this. I do not want this in my house. Those are all of the books that I am going to be getting rid of currently. I like to stock up all the books that I own that I don't want anymore so that I can make these unhauling videos. I feel like it's really interesting to watch these. I love watching other people's unhauling videos so I can see what they feel like are books that aren't worth keeping anymore. So I hope that you found this one interesting. If you liked it, you can give it a like. If you like me and my channel and you're not subscribed already, you can subscribe. You can hit that little bell icon to get notified every single time that I post. All of my social media links are in the description below if you'd like to go follow me elsewhere on the internet. And I will see you next time. Bye!